What is up? We are back in black in the building. What is going on? Another day. Another 10 cents for black folk. Another $350,000 for white folk. That's how far behind the line we are. What's going on? What's going on? You already know who the fuck I am. That's not important. We know what it is, though. It's a bunch of bullshit going on. So shout out to everybody that's at the Court Plantation right now. I just came from that motherfucker. I swear I'm gonna write a book about that shit, man. Shout out to Nuke. I gotta text Nuke. I'll probably text it right now while I'm doing this motherfucker. So shout out to Nuke. Shout out to everybody that's handling business. You already know what the fuck is going on. Shout out to all my hard-working, melanated, and highly favored black folk that's handling business right now. Let me tell you something. It's not fun. It's not easy, but it's something that we gotta do to survive. Shout out to everybody that's on their health kick. Just in case you don't, go get the book, How to Eat to Live by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Get you on your health kick. You can eat some fucked up shit, but it still teach you little tidbits and jewels and shit to learn throughout, your course of the day. Hey, shout out to everybody that's on the CMOS. Look, I don't want to do some bullshit, but this is CMOS in my shit. I got a little CMOS shake going on right now. So shout out to everybody that's at the CMOS. You know what I'm saying? I got to start re-ing up. I got people that want some, so... You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do a little something, but shout out to everybody that's out there handling business. Shout out to all the motherfuckers that's at the Court Plantation right now that want to just, whoa! That's what my little brother used to do when he'd lose. When he'd lose in Monopoly, he'd be like, whoa! So shout out to everybody that's at the Court Plantation right now, like, whoa! Because you already know what it is. Shout out to you who know how to compartmentalize and keep your composure. Hey. Shout out to everybody, and I mean everybody, melanated and highly favored, that knows how to not just compartmentalize, but keep their composure so they're not slapping the shit out of somebody and losing their motherfucking Court Plantation job, because you got to work to take care of your bills. So shout out to everybody that got real bills. And for y'all that don't got real bills, man, salute to you. But niggas like me, I'm broke as they come. My problems are having problems. Hey. So shout out to all y'all. Look, I can't even buy no pussy. No, I'm just playing. And I'll buy some pussy now. Shit. Let's get into it. Shout out to all the niggas that's out there buying pussy, yo. It's the best way to go. So shout out to all y'all, because there ain't no need you trying to sit up there. Look, first of all, you're buying pussy if you're taking a bitch anywhere to go eat. Because you know the bitch ain't gonna pay. The bitch gonna be looking at you like, you better pay. I remember I went on a date. I'm gonna get on this. I gotta get on this real quick. I remember I went on a date. And this was when my mom was alive. And I had this bitch wait for me at one of the casinos out here in Las Vegas. And I was like, I'm in the parking lot. I was still at my mom's house. Hey, my mom was like, no, you didn't. You doing that shit? Hey, what's up, Josh? I see you. Shit. I wish a nigga would do that shit to me. I was like, hey, I'm in the parking lot. I was still talking to my mom. And then I took some Bud Light Limes. I used to be a Bud Light Lime drinker. So I took some Bud Light Limes and shit. And I was like, hey man, I always met a person with liquor. Because I'm not trying to buy you no beer, no liquor, nothing. So when I met her, I was just like, yeah, I'm already drinking my beer. I had a backpack. I used to keep my beers in the backpack. Shout out to Leo and them. Anybody that know me know I used to keep my liquor shit in my backpack or in my car. I'm not trying to buy shit at a casino. And she was like, I want something to drink. I was like, with a bar right there, go ahead and get it. I kept drinking my Bud Light Lime. That bitch was like, I'm hungry. I was like, what's restaurants all in this motherfucker? Go get something to eat, and then when you done, I'll be up here chilling. That bitch thought for sure I was about to buy her something to eat. Then we went to another casino, we chilled. And then after we chilled out, and she noticed I wasn't trying to spend no money, she was just like, you want to just go back to her? I was like, yeah. I'm hungry. She's like, cool, I'm hungry too. Yeah, let's go eat. Man, I dropped that bitch off back at the casino where her car was and drove the fuck off and went to Del Taco. Fuck that bitch. So shout out to all my niggas. Look, you gonna pay no matter what. Let me tell you something. You're gonna pay. And for all you women that's out there, melanated, highly favored sisters, y'all gonna get y'all meals paid for if you conduct yourself in the right way. And I'm not talking about be on your P's and Q's, just be real, keep it a buck. So we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into a lot of shit. We're gonna get into all the violent motherfuckers that's in the United States of America, with the exception of melanated foundational black Americans. We're gonna get into this because they have given us this tag. They have given us this jacket to wear. You know, like the jackets you wear, the leather jackets you wear in high school? Well, they done gave all black people the leather jacket of violence. But we are going to prove today that we have not been the most volatile people in this United States of America, Incorporated. So, shout out to everybody that's questioned for knowledge. If you're at the Court Plantation right now, just look around you. Hey, I'm here at the Court Plantation now. Hey, what's going on? Hey, I know what it is. Tell Miss Wendy I said what's up. Shout out to everybody that's at, look. Man, look. I was talking to one of my bros at the Court Plantation. I said, look, bro, take a look around you. If don't nobody look like you that's in a position of power, that should tell you what career and where your future lies at this Court Plantation and any Court Plantation you work at. You feel me? And he was just like, nah, man, you right. I was like, but it ain't no love lost. Let me tell you why it's no love lost. Because there's something that's embedded in you being melanated and highly favored that will draw to you that's outside of the corporate plantation. That's why if you read the Kabbalion, which I gotta read again, we possess the law of rhythm. It is embedded in our DNA, our genetic coding. Not them, but us. And go check out Red Pill, Blue Pill, because they talk about that. The law of rhythm and all this other shit. And it's real. But I'm telling you right now, when you get on the Court Plantation, hey, what you should do, go in there. If you can have earphones on, play your music. Listen to a podcast. Listen to me if you can. Listen to me while you at work. I get you to that work session. It's probably a nigga right now at your job telling on somebody, thinking they gonna get a pat on the head. Look around you. Then you got your Africans that won't identify as black. They'll identify as their nationality. And I'm getting tired of that shit too. We gonna get into that too. We gonna also get into Cynthia Erivo playing Aretha Franklin. You're not a foundational black American and you shouldn't be playing Aretha Franklin. It should be Jennifer Hudson playing Aretha Franklin. You can't sing like Jennifer Hudson. We gonna get into all that. Hey. And last but not least, we gonna get into the Minnesota shooting and how a dominant white society motherfucker was in there busting. And they're not making this national news the way they would really want to if it was a melanated person. But we're gonna put it all on blast. And shout out to everyone that is practicing and going and reciting Dirty Bookman's prayer. Replace the image of the white man's God. Like he said, their God asked them to commit crimes against us. Why the fuck would we be serving the same God? So shout out to everybody that's practicing Ifa, Voodoo, Kundule, Santeria. Oh, I got some books on Voodoo. Look, I bet you, if you play this for any black Christian, they gonna be like, you's gonna go to hell. We's gonna do no voodoo. Fuck out of here, man. If they elderly, just let them have their own belief system. Don't argue them down. But if you are old enough and wise enough to understand that these ancient African belief systems are the reason why we have religions to this day. So we're gonna get into it all. Hey. Man. Let me tell you something, man. Melanated people, we got one hell of a job. Let me tell you why we got one hell of a job, man. Because let me tell you something. Melanated people, in my personal opinion, you have two fights. You have to fight your own people, and then you got to still be fighting the dominant white society and all their little minions that come along with them. All the other racial groups that, you know, they take so much pride in their nationality until they get on the corporate plantation. And what behavior do they replicate? What mentality do they replicate? They replicate the dominant white society. Don't get mad, get glad. You're like, why? Because then you know, when a person shows you who they are, believe them. And it's not for you to be like, oh, that motherfucker. It's for you to be like, excuse me, okay, that's his role. That's his way of thinking. Or that's her way of thinking. You just move accordingly. You don't get mad. You get glad and be like, well, I'm just glad I'm not like that. That's why I'll be live when I'm at the Court Plantation a lot of the times. Man, I'm not going to front. Robin Hood wakes me up every day. I'm looking at my portfolio, my stock, and I'm like Marshawn Lynch. I'm only here so I don't get fined. Translation, I'm here to get a paycheck. I'm not here to be in an entanglement with a corporate plantation. No. That's not what we doing. And black folk, you need to wake up. Go read The Wealth Choice by Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. It breaks it down how the majority of black folk who've risen up the Maslow's hierarchy of need within a black corporation, or not a black corporation, within a corporate plantation, a Fortune 500 company, and then they still don't get treated right, and then they have to branch off and start their own business because they don't like the way they're being treated. So after I read that, I really was like, damn, that's some real shit. And it changes your, I would say it changes your mentality a little bit. I think what it did to me is it just woke me up. And it let me know, like, hey, nigga, here's your wake-up call. As Paul Mooney would say, you got your wake up, nigga, wake up. And that's what it'll teach you. So I think right now what we need to be doing is we need to be worried about how we can get this knowledge, get this financial stability going, and we can handle business and not be worried about who's moving up and who's not. Let them do their thing, man. Like I said, Dr. Frances Welsing always says, tell us what's being said when we're not in the room. So if you don't got nobody around you that's really not putting you on the game, then just get away from them. If they give you tidbits of knowledge and then kind of, I would say, editing certain things that they want to give you because they don't really want you to be knowledgeable, then you just got to look at who you're dealing with and move accordingly. And you need to understand too that we are not the violent people in this United States of America Incorporated. Why, Warren? Because their forefathers, Thomas Jefferson and George Washington, I would never tell a lie, Abraham Lincoln, and and Andrew Jackson, all the motherfuckers that's on our currency, those were the most violent men. Raping, robbing. George Washington was pulling out motherfuckers, black people's teeth and making dentures out of it. Because he had gummies. He was that's what George Washington was doing. He's like, oh, these niggas got big teeth. Shit, I can use these teeth. That's what he was doing. Motherfucker, go read it. Go read Medical Apartheid. John Sims, the creator of the first fistula. No, that nigga was operating on black women and wasn't even using anesthesia. Talking about they can't feel shit anyway because they black. Hey, get the fuck out of here. Stop. And now they was using Henrietta Lacks stem cells and healing all them motherfucking white folk. Like I told you before, you better get on the CMOS. You see, that's what I'm on. Why you up here running and taking some goddamn vaccination that you don't even know? That's why motherfuckers like, oh, man, another motherfucker dropped dead. Oh, I wonder why. But if that's what you want to go take the vaccination. But don't shame the motherfuckers that don't want to take it or want to keep it to themselves. I don't shame either way. Do what you do. Me, my vaccination is CMOS. My vaccination is Tahuti Ma'at Ra herbs. That's what my shit is. You know what I'm saying? Look, let me tell you something. My thing is, if you gonna eat the red meat, eat the meat, you better go get you some colon cleansers from ma'atraherb.com and get that shit up out of your motherfucking colon. But these are just things that we should be working on, and we should not let them give us that jacket to wear about being violent. They always want to talk about how niggas are violent and black on black crime and all this bullshit, but what have we seen the last 90 days? They stormed the Capitol, right? Violent, somebody got shot, killed, and some more shit. They ain't even talking about that shit. You ain't even heard Joe Biden talk about it at all. They just blaming Donald Trump the whole time. They using Donald Trump as the faceplate of white violence, as if it's just, in racism, white supremacy, it's only one leader. No, it's not one leader. Racism, white supremacy is a team sport. It's an institution. It's a bunch of team players. That's why at a corporate plantation, everyone looks like the dominant society, the white dominant society. And all the players of the game look like black folk and Latinos and Asians and Indians and everyone else, and East Indians and Arabs, and right? And then those other racial groups, they know we're at the bottom of the caste system, so they take part in using us as a punching bag because they know they get pats on the head from the white dominant society. That's why everybody will associate themselves with their nationality, but then really they're checking white on the sense that they're checking white anytime they go apply for a job or anything. trust and believe you me, they not in business for you, they in business for them. So we need to stop including everybody in our struggle. Straight up. Nobody else includes us in their struggle, but we always quick to want to include everybody else. I don't care what you are. You can be Puerto Rican, Cuban. That's fine. I don't have no problem with you. But when we're talking about foundational black Americans, when we're talking about native blacks, as Dr. Claude Anderson talks about, and us building this country, we're owed more than a fucking church. We should have banks, planes, boats, lands, abundance of land. But no, they so busy giving it out to all their white friends and family members. And then when the niggas start asking for reparations, they look at us like we crazy. Talk about, and then you got all these Caucasians, these dominant society motherfuckers thinking that they want to speak for us. And then on top of them, then they select tethers, as Tariq Nasheed says. They'll select tethers, basically what seems to be a duplicate copy of a foundational black American or a native black, when really they're not. And then they're not gonna use the talking points that will move forward the economic plight of native black folk. They just do a whole bunch of talking in circles. That's what I mean about this violence. Yeah, violence begets violence, but who's been the most volatile racial group in the United States of America, Incorporated? Who? Tell me. You take a look around and tell me who it is. Because while motherfuckers sitting up there talking about we violent and we this and we that and we thugs and, you know, they want to call us thugs and say all this bullshit, right? They want to say all this bullshit. But after they say all this shit, right? We are so convinced and so socially engineered that we are the most violent that we start looking at each other like, let me grab my purse because this nigga done walked by. Shit, let me grab my wallet, man. Let me lock my door. I just seen these niggas hanging outside. These niggas probably ain't even worried about what you got going on. But that's our social engineering, the programming. That's why we look at each other as competition. And we don't view each other as, hey man, this is my nigga. These my peoples. You know what I mean? No, we don't look at it like that. We look at it like, fuck this nigga. Cause you know most niggas, they want to be the only nigga in the room. Cause they want all attention. I hate that shit. That's the most awkward shit I've ever been. I hate that shit, man. I hate it. That's why I always talk about Opportunity Village. And you know why I'm saying, but more Opportunity Village, because there was a lot of melanated brothers and sisters that worked there. So I was not the odd man out. Now, was some little bit of Samboing and a little bit of Cooning? Yeah, but for the most part, the majority of the black folk stuck together. They fucked with each other heavy. And I'll never forget that. Because in this system of racism and white supremacy, nigga, we on the same team. So when a nigga thinking he flossing on, you know, all this other shit, I just be looking at a nigga sometimes. Like I told a nigga like, hey man, that car is nice, brother. And the brother was shocked. He didn't know if I was being funny. I'm like, man, that's a nice ride, brother. You know, I look at it, brother, hey man, what's going on, man? Motherfucker, look at you upside your head. I'm like, God damn, man. It is literally a dog-eat-dog world. Man. But these are just things that maybe we can get out of our system. You know what I mean? Who knows? But I'll tell you this. There is no difference to me if you're looking at your own people crazy than a nigga buck dancing for some Hansel and Gretel crumbs at the core plantation. That's one and the same. If you're not for your people, look, like I told y'all before, I remember a nigga tried to give me some shit about dating outside my race, right? Cause I kept saying, I was like, I'll fuck with whoever fuck with me. And then we went back for, how could you do that to your sister? And I'm just looking like, nigga, I love sisters, nigga, but I'm gonna date whoever dates me, nigga, whoever really fuck with me. I'm talking about who really is in my team, who really got my back, nigga, who really is about black movement and all this other shit. And I had to tell him too, I'm like, nigga, and this was like 2003, and I really had to tell him like, nigga, she could be black, but if she's not about the black movement, and when I mean that, and she kissing ass and telling on niggas and treating niggas fucked up, then what good is she to us? And the nigga just looked at me like, I'm like, man, you don't even get it, bro. You gotta check the pedigree, man. And you have to check the Carfax on people, what their mental is. And you'll learn a lot about a person by what they spend their money on. That doesn't mean you judge them and think you better than. Just if they spend their money on cars, clothes, and shoes, they can put you on to some shit about cars and clothes. Like, hey man, you want to get a nice whip? Woo woo. Don't use it as, oh, they done. They just spend all their money. Let them spend their money on whatever the fuck they want to spend their money on. Niggas gotta stop worrying about shit that don't matter. Niggas need to be worried about shit that does matter. That's the fucking problem. That's why I don't ever want to be associated with worrying about somebody else's wealth and what they got. Man, good for them. You got to build your own wealth. You can spend so much time, invested energy, right, in somebody else's success, but then you're forgetting and neglecting your own path. There's weeds and trees and shit growing. Now you can't even see your own path because you're too in alignment with what somebody else's path is. That's what I learned. That's why I just kind of focus on my little nest egg that I'm trying to build and just handle business. Nigga, if it come, it come. If it don't, whatever it is. But I think we need to see each other more as allies and teammates and see each other more as enemies. Yeah, there's going to be some fuck shit going on and some shit you don't like. You just get the fuck away from them. But you need those relationships and you got to establish them. And we have to understand that we're not the most violent people in this country, nigga. Stop. Nigga, we didn't enslave these people over here. They enslaved us over here. Nigga, we were already over here. They knew we was over here. Then they try to separate us. Oh, well, we gonna call those people the Indians. And then we gonna call, well, nigga, how you gonna call them the Indians when black folk were already over here? What the fuck do you mean? But that's what happens when you start to challenge and become oppositional of somebody else's belief system who have clearly socially engineered us that Black History Month, we gonna do the Super Bowl, takes away from Black History Month. We gonna do Valentine's Day, takes away from Black History Month. Then you do President's Day, and the majority of well, I would say 99.9% of the presidents were all a part of the system of racism and white supremacy. Even your boy Barack Obama. But we wanna celebrate that during our month. Go figure. But we about to get on, I'm about to play this video about your boy Gregory Ulrich, who just started dumping. But they don't really want to talk about it, but I want to hear what the fuck this motherfucker got to say. So let's play this shit.
There's a lot of information to be sifted through. I don't know at this point of any comments directly made by the shooter to anyone in the clinic.
Could you say what his motive is? Could you speak to that at all? It's not a nexus of domestic terrorism. What is it?
The history that we have as a department with this individual makes it.
Yeah, so basically basically somebody asked a question. Well, that's domestic terrorism. See, you notice when it's white folk, they don't call it domestic terrorism. They try to use every other word, but, well, that's terrorism. Just like what they did at the Capitol. Those are domestic terrorists that stormed the Capitol and did all that. But they don't want to give them that jacket. Let that have been a nigga shooting up a goddamn clinic or some shit like that. They would have his face plastered all over the news.
Most likely that this incident was targeted at that facility or at someone within that facility. We're working now to, as has been said, to make sure that we throw a net over anything remaining. We want to retrace his last hours and determine where he was. But at this point, because of the contact.
But you notice he never said that he was a domestic terrorist. It doesn't matter if he was targeting somebody here. That's terrorism. So if a black person go on a court plantation and just get to dumping, nigga, that's terrorism. You can't just go on a fucking job and do that, man. That's domestic terrorism. What are you doing? What are you saying? Come on, man. Where the fuck is the FBI at? Man, get the fuck out of here. If that would have been a nigga doing that shit, oh, Lord Jesus. You already know what they'd have done. Shoot to kill.
We have had with him and his familiarity and a history of conflict. That's where we base the belief that this was an isolated and only directed at that facility or people within that facility.
Can you talk a little bit more about that, Chief? Jessica Miles of Channel 5. Because it sounds like the other clinic in town too was familiar with this guy. They had a mug of him and they knew who he was.
Correct. He has lived in this community for quite a long time. And
you notice they ain't saying nothing bad though. Even though they just said, well, they were familiar with him. So he's got a history with them. Put his business out there. Trayvon Martin has Skittles. He has Skittles, right? Man, they tried to dirty up and besmirch his name like a motherfucker. Mike Brown, too. They tried to say he was stealing from a store. And then they showed the video footage of the store. He literally knew the people at the store and was already dealing with them. But they tried to say he was stealing at the store. But that doesn't give you a right to shoot and kill a motherfucker. Man, get the fuck out of here, man.
Has had contact with healthcare within the community during that time. None of the information that we have, again, it's early on in the investigation, but none of the information that we have from our past contact with him would indicate that he was unhappy with or would direct his anger at anyone other than people within the facilities where he had been treated or where they had attempted to give treatment.
Was there a doctor in particular that he was focusing on?
Again, at this point, it's early on in the investigation.
They don't, you know what's so funny? They don't never know nothing. They just give you tidbits of what's going on. Look, that white man probably didn't like his health care, didn't like what the fuck was going on, so he committed terrorism. He went up to the job, started dumping it, and put people's lives in danger. That's what brings me to my next point. Melanated people, pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to how people treat other people. Pay attention to all that shit. And you don't have to speak up and say nothing, but watch it. Because it could be that very person that you're working with that's treating other people fucked up that could cause a motherfucker to come up on a goddamn court plantation and get to dumping and acting a fool. So you got to not just treat people cool, but sit back and watch and observe and see what's going on. Don't just get in the middle of it. A lot of times just sit back and watch. Because you don't know, a motherfucker might snap. And you don't want to be that person involved in none of that. You want to be the motherfucker on the outside looking in, just watching. Like, as long as I ain't got nothing to do with that shit. And if you're around a person that gets off or gets a mental high off of treating people a certain way, get the fuck away from them and just watch. Don't say nothing to them. Don't give them no advice. Those people aren't going to listen to you anyway. Step back, move aside, and move ahead and just keep watching. Because if they were familiar with this dominant white society person, this domestic terrorist, then that means people knew, man, this dude might come up here and trip out. See, we worked at Doolittle, and I worked at Doolittle Community Center, Las Vegas, Nevada, West Side. You know what I'm saying? No, nigga, I'm just out here running my mouth. No, my mom's lived on the West Side of Las Vegas. A very good, niggas get scared when they think of the West Side. The West Side was good. The West Side was good to my mom. We didn't have no problems like that on the West Side. Fuck out of here, man. The West Side was gravy. So I don't want to hear that shit because the nigga be like, oh, the West Side. Nah, it was good. And I worked over there at Doolittle Community Center. Let me tell you, when you treat the motherfucker fucked up, nigga gonna come up there and see you. I remember I was working with some people, and I remember a nigga came up there and was like, y'all let my son get jumped. Y'all be sitting y'all ass at this motherfucking counter when I come back. And that nigga would basically let us know, like, nigga, it's on when I come back. See, at least niggas will give a nigga the fair warning. So, nigga, them people should have already known, like, hey, man, this dude is not happy. So we need to do something. But you know what happens? Motherfuckers just disregard motherfuckers think because a nigga old and shit. But look, let me tell you something. The only reason why they're not going hard on this white man because he's an elderly white man. If it was a black man, they would plaster him all over the news, all over CNN, all over Fox, all over everywhere. But because he's an older white man, or a white man period, and it's his system, the media is not going to really expose certain things like they would do a black person. That's a fact.
And so that's not something we're going to talk about.
Are there any quick bombs or explosive devices detonated? Because the way those windows went out, it doesn't necessarily look like gunshots.
Again, one of the things that we want to do is make sure that when we give you information, it's accurate. In a scene like that, as soon as...
So that's you just making an excuse. Oh, we don't want to talk about it, right? Oh, well, again, see, that's I would say that's a deflection. That's what I would call an alligator roll. You just going to take a motherfucker on an alligator roll. You know, alligators, when they get you, they motherfuckers turn you around, upside down, inside out, under that water. And they be trying to tear up your bones and suffocate you, do all kinds of crazy shit to you. So you so discombobulated, they basically give the fuck up. And that's how they get you. And that's what motherfuckers do. That's called white fragility. Nigga, tell us about the person, the domestic terrorist. Yeah, he's a domestic terrorist. I don't care what it is. You don't go up to no job and start shooting people and killing people. And if you don't work there, you don't do that. That's a place of business. You don't do that, but motherfucker did it. But you notice they're keeping it out of context. Like, oh, we don't want to talk about that right now. And then they're kind of very not forthcoming with the information of what we're at. Oh, well, we don't really want to talk about that right now. Well, then what the fuck do you want to talk about? Fuck out of here, nigga. Tell us what's going on.
Raid, as soon as we rendered aid and were able to make sure that there was no one else in that scene that needed our help, we backed out, evacuated the area as best we could. So again, that answer is one that we would hope to answer. I'm sorry, that question is one that we would hope to answer in the coming days, but it's too early to tell.
How many shots were fired, Chief?
I have no idea.
You don't even know how many shots were fired. So then where's the investigation people at? See, this is what I'm saying. It's so funny when it's the dominant white society, they don't never have no information, right? Never. Just like the Capitol. They were talking about, oh, we were going to find all these people. Well, y'all didn't need to find these people. They posted it on social media that they was going to storm the Capitol. Y'all didn't need to find nothing. Y'all could have had the National Guard out there that day. Matter of fact, y'all could have had, not only could y'all have the National Guard, y'all could have had the police out there. Y'all could have had motherfuckers out there like y'all do black folks when we do peaceful protests. Y'all got motherfucking riot gear and all kinds of shit going on when it's us. But when it's them, motherfucking security was opening the gate for them and go ahead and go on in there. Shit, I believe you too. I'm a Trump fan too. And then they try to put Trump as the faceplate of the bullshit riot. But it's like, well, Trump don't have mind control. He didn't use MK Ultra on these people. They had to do it on their own. And they put it all over social media. So y'all knew this shit was going to happen. So I don't want to hear that shit. You don't know how many shots was fired. Man, get the fuck out of here. Trust and believe you me. It's just like Ghislaine Maxwell, who I'm going to keep bringing up every chance I get, and they don't never want to talk about. We talk about R. Kelly till the cows come home and Bill Cosby because of that King Cooper KRS-One motherfucking alligator skin looking bitch with the Me Too movement shit going on. She's the one who started all that shit. That Sambo mammy ass motherfucking ugly bitch gonna start that shit. But then when it comes to Harvey Weinstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and them motherfuckers, crickets. We don't hear nothing about them. Then they put a little something on Netflix, but fuck that Netflix shit. Why don't you put the shit on Oxygen or wherever the fuck it was on where you did the mute R. Kelly shit? But we don't want to mute Elvis and all these other racist motherfuckers that done treated niggas fucked up they whole career. Man, get the fuck out of here, man.
Sorry.
Can you address the explosion or whatever you're looking into? Because throughout the day, we've talked about a shooting and then a half an hour later, an explosion. So if it's wrong, can you say that that's wrong?
I can say that that's wrong. I know that the call came out at 11:54.
10:54.
I'm sorry, 10:54. Sorry.
This motherfucker don't even know. They didn't even prep him. They just get up there and tell them motherfuckers. That was just like the 1 October when the motherfucker came out here and was dumping at that country shit. He was shooting up all the motherfucking white people. It's not funny, but I was kind of laughing because I'm like, man, that nigga was dumping. And then it was like they just had the sheriff just come out there and just do some talking. Like, just go out there and say something to these people. And it's like, well, don't say nothing until you got all the facts. But then they're going to withhold shit anyway. They're not going to tell the general public what the fuck is really going on. And their excuse would be, well, we don't want to mess up our leads and all that. You already know what's going on. It's cameras everywhere. Stop.
And when I talk about an evacuation where law enforcement had at that point backed out, I don't have a specific time, but I know that no more than an hour had passed.
And there was no explosion inside that building?
There may have been.
He don't even know. So what does that tell y'all? So well, it may have been because he don't want to say nothing because they don't want to call this man a domestic terrorist. I haven't heard them say it the whole time. Even like, well, wouldn't you consider that domestic terrorism? Oh, well, we have to get all the facts. Oh, you got to get all the facts. If it was a nigga, they'd be like, guilty nigga. Not only is this nigga domestic terrorist, all his family members.
Prior to our being able to.
They would have said all his family members, arrest all this nigga's family members. Well, they have nothing to do with this. We don't give a fuck. Bring all they black asses in here. They all going to fucking jail. Nigga.
Go inside and evacuate the building.
So you can't confirm it right now until
correct.
they're done looking.
Correct.
Can you
Yes.
talk a little bit about the people in the facility, in the clinic? Were they running out when this was happening? Were they sheltering in place? Were they hiding? What was staff and patients doing inside there? Do you know?
Yeah, so there is a lot that's unknown. All of the people within the building that we were able to speak with, we have spoken with, but that information again has to be part of the total investigation.
And this is the Buffalo police chief not knowing nothing about what the fuck is going on, by the way, just to let y'all know. Pat Budke, or whatever the fuck his name is, which he don't know what the fuck is going on. He's just up there babbling.
You know, in terms of people running out or what the reaction was, I know that Alina has a very comprehensive training response plan for things like this as a facility, and so I would guess, it would be a guess, that there was a combination of responses by people.
All right, this brother just, he just running his mouth. He don't know what the fuck he talking about, man. I don't want to hear that shit, man. Just making shit up. Oh, well, we would assume, I'm not safe to say if it's a bomb or not, but maybe it was. Nigga, what? If you don't, nigga, Mr. Rogers, fuck out of here with that shit, nigga. You will learn a lot about a person on what they spend their money on. Yes, you will. And that's, you just learn a lot about them. That doesn't mean that, that doesn't mean that you start judging and be looking at them crazy. Just be like, okay, well, that's what they into. My thing will always be this. Stop holding black folk to this outlandish standard. And then when it comes to every other racial group, they can kick you in the teeth. They could have poor business acumen, and you keep giving them chance after chance. But when it comes to black business, shit, that's why I don't fuck with nigga shit, man. Niggas don't be bullshitting, man. It was a black business. I seen so many niggas going to the Better Business Bureau. I'm like, God damn, man. And I get it. Because if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. But a lot of times, that shit ain't necessary, man. It's just not. Not to do it to your own people. We're such an angry, distraught, disaggregate, disenfranchised people. We don't even know how to coexist without the negative connotation behind dealing with black folk, or just the negative mentality behind dealing with black folk. When it's nigga shit. A lot of times we don't want to give each other a chance. That's facts. We just don't. And we don't want to see each other win. And I think a lot of it has to do with financial stability, and a lot of it has to do with slavery and how they was separating the house Negro and the field Negro. And oh, well, this nigga's been good, so we're going to give this nigga meritorious manumission because he saved my life and he did something that I like. So, and then the niggas that get meritorious manumission, they start looking at the other niggas like they ain't shit. You like, well, what's meritorious manumission? That's where a nigga would do something good for a white person, their slave master, or they go tell on another nigga type shit. Basically some Sambo behavior type shit. And then white folk would give you your freedom or give you different privileges and shit. That's where you think they got that shit from. I think more people need to wake up and start reading and researching what the fuck is going on instead of just taking a nigga's word for it and just, it's like, you know how you black Christians are. You go to the church and listen to the preacher jump around and hippity-hoppity, and all this bullshit. And then you be like, well, what was the message about? And a motherfucker be like, oh, it was about, well, what was it? Well, how could you apply that to your everyday life? Most niggas will be like, man, see, there you go, man. You gonna go to hell, man, all this other shit. And it's like, right. So because I'm oppositional, I'm going to go to hell, right? Okay, right. So let me just tell you this. Research, do the studying for yourself. You know what I'm saying? I'm still reading The Destruction of a Black Civilization. I've been super busy, got a lot of shit going on. Shit, I gotta get on to see my shit right now. But I appreciate everybody listening. Shout out to everybody that's out there. If you're at the Court Plantation, I would suggest you listen to me. My nephew listens to me when he at work. That's the best time to listen to me. You can play my old podcast maybe if you're bored or something, but listen to me when you're at work. It makes more sense then. And if anybody else is on it, then put them on. If they not on it, don't even pass it to them, man. But if you're not supporting black businesses and trying to spend your money with black people on black business, then I don't know what the fuck to tell you. I know I do. Tahuti Ma'ara, blackandnoble.com, Mix of Health, Urban Bookstore, Urban Reads Bookstore. Hey man, I fuck with it all. Black books, anything about black businesses or what, hey man, you gotta fuck with it. We all we got at the end of the day. So let's recycle those dollars and do, and look, now I'm just not running my mouth, nigga. I'll show you. You don't want to see my motherfucking collection of my raw herbs, nigga. That's a fact. But hey, man, I appreciate everybody listening, subscribing. Hey, man, get you some sea moss in your life. I appreciate it. Hey, man, if you're hanging around a motherfucker and you tell them about supporting black business, they be like, man, see, man, niggas be guilty, nigga. That's a Sambo for you. I'm out. Peace.